I've seen the head cook just go like this.
I can't do it, dude.
You know when they wipe their mouth?
Yeah.
A lot of them do it on their shirt, but I've seen like with their hand.
Ooh.
And I'm like, oh, I'm out.
Good. Yeah.
Like my grandmother, she loved, because she's old school black lady, made food with her hands. I could not watch her make food. Mm-hmm. Food was excellent. As long as I didn't see her make it, I was okay. If I was at, because sometimes I would be at my grandmother's house. Sure. If I saw her actually make the food, I couldn't eat it. Hey, what's going on? It's Michael Yo. Welcome to the Yo Show. We appreciate you watching. This is awesome, man. Make sure you subscribe, spread the word. Want a reminder, January 20th. Are you opening your drink? Big intro.
I didn't think it was gonna be that loud.
Big intro to the show. That's Rudy Pavich. Or is it Pavich?
It's either way.
How do you like it? Pavich or Pavich?
It's supposed to be Pavich. Everybody mispronounces it. I just roll with it. I'm like, whatever.
Wait, it's supposed to be what?
Pavich.
Pavich. Okay, I'll never mess it up again.
That's
Pavich.
fine. Yeah, see?
Yeah, no, Pavich. I got it. Pavich. My new special, Snack Daddy, January 28th, 2025 next year. Make sure you get ready for it and subscribe to the YouTube page and support this. You know, people are already dropping money for the podcast.
It's wild.
We got Jamil, I think that was his name. $5. Gave us our first $5.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Do you remember at a time when I'm so blown away that even though we've done well, we're okay, we're middle-aged men, we're doing just fine.
Yeah.
But even $5 still feels like, wow, it feels like you've made it with $5.
It does. Because you don't expect it, I think.
Yeah, that's
like
right.
anybody watching right now, if you drop money, we will give you a shout out on the show and all that stuff. But it just surprises me. Mm-hmm. Like when he gave it, I was just like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Like it's better. It's the best $5 I've ever received in my life, I think.
Because we worked for it. We earned it. We really
did.
worked. I think sometimes people think you roll in and you just hit the cameras and you hit record. And
no.
There's so many. I mean, the hours we've spent in here. We spent 45 minutes today just figuring out how to turn the lights on.
Yeah. It's true.
So true.
I'm turning off breakers, trying to get it.
Yeah.
No. Oh, I gotta watch my mic because this jacket. I should take off this jacket because it's gonna make a lot of noise. I can already tell.
Yeah.
I already feel it's gonna make noise on the show. Oh, by the way, I just turned the big 50 years old. So my wife, I'm a huge Miami Hurricanes fan. So this is an old school starter jacket. Like what I used to wear when I was growing up. So it says Miami on the front, and it has the ibis on the back.
Yeah.
Miami, and then it has the patch on the right there. Mm-hmm. So I'm a huge my wife nailed it with this one. I mean, actually, I really bought. I'm tearing up the studio, Rudy.
You're good.
Oh my
We'll
goodness.
figure it out.
Oh my goodness. We got to put that back up there. I'll just take it down right now.
That's all right. We'll
anyway. I mean, I bought it for myself. So,
yeah.
You know, any present, I haven't received a present in 8 years. Since I got married, I buy everybody's presents and mine.
Yeah.
So I know what I'm going to get before it's even.
Yeah.
As soon as it hits my credit card, I see it, you know?
Yeah, I just send the link to my daughter now and just go, this is what I shall be receiving.
But do you buy it for yourself?
Yeah.
Wait, you send a link to your daughter?
Yeah.
And then you buy it?
And then I buy it. And then she wraps it and gives it to me as if she did it. Yeah. It was my niece's birthday the other day, and I bought her, I can't remember what we bought her, but it was expensive. And my daughter got in her car, went to the house, gave my niece the gift, and then in the card just wrote her name. I paid for it. I paid for the shipping. I paid for the wrapping. The only thing my daughter did was transport it to the house, and the card did not have my name anywhere near it.
I do say, man, it's a thing where it's not fun getting gifts for me anymore.
Yeah.
Especially when you're buying all of them.
Yeah,
it's just not fun.
Yeah.
I tell my wife, don't buy me anything. Because you may buy me something I don't even want.
Yeah. You know what
I pay for it.
Yeah. The gift is me not spending money on me.
100%. That is my gift. Stop spending my money on myself. And I hate to say my money, our money, because my wife does a lot.
Sure.
Does a lot. But when I know what I'm going to get before I even get it, it's not the same.
You're right.
The only gifts I really get is from my parents. And my wife's parents. And my wife's brother.
There's going to come a point when the kids get a little bit older, maybe not until maybe they're in their 20s or something, because I don't know if you guys ever did this, but last year for Christmas, my mom said no gifts. Like
I would love that.
It's great. I'll tell you this. Last year was because we always say that every year, no gifts. And then last year was the first year that we really stuck to it. We didn't get anything. So Christmas morning, the kids had a couple of gifts, obviously, but there was nothing for the adults. And 2 weeks ago when I was home, I told my sister that we shall never do that ever again.
Oh, you didn't like that?
I hated it, man. No, there is something special about waking up that morning, Christmas morning. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be expensive. It just has to be a thing that you get for that little moment in time. It's all about you. While everyone's watching you open that gift, it feels good.
Are you the family that watches every single person open the gift? It goes around and then you read a card. Yeah, we do that. It takes so long. So long. But I do it because I know the kids will remember it. But if it was just adults, I wouldn't do that.
No, of course not.
But kids, they like to open it, and then my kids wind up opening my gift, and they open up everybody else's gift. I mean, it's great. It's great. But Christmas, I do it for the kids now, and like, I told my wife, don't buy me anything.
Yeah. Don't need it.
I don't need it.
Yeah.
And I was like, you should have the same attitude as me.
Yeah.
And definitely not.
Because
my wife did say, oh, I don't need anything. I was like, okay, I don't need anything doesn't mean I don't need anything.
We'll see how that goes when you wake up Christmas morning with nothing under the tree.
Hey, you said nothing.
You said nothing.
Yeah, right. That's
which is code for her saying, I want something, I just don't want to think about it.
Yeah.
I don't need anything means I don't want to tell you what to get me. I want you to take initiative and go find that thing to see how much you really love me.
I don't. Because I hate buying people things they don't like. Mm-hmm. You know, and my wife is so nice. I could buy her the ugliest pair of shoes and she'll wear them.
Yeah.
She is so sweet. She is the nicest person. She'll wear them and be like, I love them. And I know she hates them. Yeah. So I'm like, hey, I'm not buying anything. I'll get you a nice card where I say something sweet in it or whatever. But I'll just give her money to go get, because I've gotten so many gifts that I hate. Not from my family, but just in the past. And I'm like, just give me the money. Mm-hmm. And my family is totally different than my wife's family. My family is like, what do you want? Get it. And there's no opening present. It's like, they'll wrap it maybe, but it's kind of like if it comes in early, you have it. This is when I lived at home. So we did Christmas, but we did Christmas when I was a kid big time.
Yeah.
But then when I got older, it was kind of, what do you want? And then when it came in the mail, they would give it to me. And then we would just have a great Christmas dinner and stuff like that. So
wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was never, like now my parents, it's not a big deal. But our household is like that. And I'm an only child, so it's kind of like they didn't have a bunch of kids that really, we went to other people's houses, but it was more about food and celebration rather than the gifts.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm telling you, man, like that 1 year, if you try it with your family, we're not going to do gifts this year. It loses, there's something about it.
Oh, 100%.
It doesn't have to be much. It doesn't have to be much, but you do have to have a little something.
But you could never do that with kids.
No. The other thing, I don't know if you guys do this with your kids. It drives me nuts, the opening gifts a day early. Like, can I have an early Christmas present?
You know what? Our kids do that. They'll get to open one before, the night before. Actually, not anymore. My wife changed that.
Yeah.
So it's all on the Christmas day, and they wake up super early. But I think a lot of people do that so they don't have to wake up early. Because kids get so excited. Like our kids are up at 4 a.m. And now you're 4 a.m. to
you're right.
all day. It's an all-day event.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
You know what I mean?
Because my daughter was so timid and always has been. She's not one to wake anybody up. So she would wait until we got, but she would be sitting under that tree from like 4:30 in the morning until 8 o'clock when we walked out, and she was waiting. Yeah.
My kids would be like, Daddy, Mama, it's Christmas at 3:30 in the morning. They do not care. I just had a big birthday. I am 50. And let me tell you what's interesting. I've been in Hollywood for a long time. I live in Vegas now. And I was like, man, maybe I shouldn't say my age. Because you always worry about getting aged out of things. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, am I going to be too old for this? Am I going to be, will the industry look at me differently? But then I noticed the people that are really making it, they own who they are. It is what it is. I'm 50. Because I still get roles for like older 30s. Like I'm auditioning, they love the auditions. And I'm like, man, maybe if I say that, then everybody will know. But then I'm like, nah, I am. And I think it was actually a big move of me. And personally, to come out and just say I'm 50, because in the industry I'm in, acting and different things like that, once you reach a certain age, and maybe it's different now, you kind of like, oh, he's done, you know? Like, but now I feel like I'm just starting.
Yeah.
So I wanted to show that appreciation, and the post went well, and we'll see how it plays out on the acting side, but it's kind of like everybody I look up to in comedy or what they've done, accomplish, owns who they are, and they don't care about age. You know what I mean? Where when I first started, nobody wanted to know anybody's age because you'd be like, well, you're too old for this, you're too old for this. I got a role the other day, and this is when I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. They've seen my headshots. They're all updated. I got a role where at the end of the script, it goes, I ask the person, how old are you? And they say theirs, and they go, how old am I? And I go, my line is 26. And I go, okay, call the casting director and say, I'm not 26. I'm comfortable saying 39, 40 because I can get away with that.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was like, now it's kind of like, I've never felt better in my life about where I am.
Yeah.
In everything.
It's crazy how it takes age and a lot of wisdom to be able to get to that place in life, because
go ahead.
Because when you're young, you have all this energy and you have all, you know what I mean? You can do anything. You have this sort of like vibrance to you. But then progressively as time goes on, your body starts to wear down a little bit, but your wisdom goes up and you start feeling very comfortable about who you are and where you're at in life. And
yes,
it's weird sort of like pendulum swing balance, you know?
I think it is age, but it has nothing to do with the age I've turned. At 49, like at the middle of this year, I was like, I've never felt better in my life, and I was 49. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that comes with age, because I've also have friends my age, and they're like, life is miserable.
Sure.
But I don't know. It just seems like, you know what it is? It's kind of like, I think you mentioned it on air when we first started. We put in the work, and the work I really wanted to do. I spent the first 13 years in Hollywood doing a job I liked but didn't love.
Yeah.
I was just good at it, and it paid me a lot of money. Then I found comedy, and I love starting something I wasn't good at. Now I'm good at, and now I'm basically providing for a family, doing what I love, and get to be around during the week for my kids. Mm-hmm. So I think hitting that mark and getting comfortable, and it's kind of like helping out people is more of a prerogative for me now, because I'm just comfortable. Mm-hmm. Not comfortable financially, or it has nothing to do with money. It's just, I know who I am.
Yeah.
And I know you. You can't stop what I'm doing, where when you're younger in the game, you're like, everybody's competition.
Yeah.
When you get older, you're like, oh, no, they were never competition, because it's about you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
there's enough pie for everybody.
That's right.
Yeah, you start figuring that out a little bit later. There's a great show on Netflix called The 100.
Oh, it's a game show.
Game show.
Yeah.
They take people, I might be getting this wrong, but they basically take people from like in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and 60s, I think it is. And the people who do the best at these competitions are people in their 20s and people in their 60s. The worst are the people in their 30s, because your 30s are miserable. Your 30s are everything I thought I was going to be, didn't pan out for me. You have a very difficult time because you need help, but your ego is there. Yep. You still think you can do it all. But the people in their 20s, no responsibilities yet. They're not married. They have no kids. They're still having fun. They're at that age where everything is new and you're hopeful and you're like, wow. 60s, they're doing well because they've stopped caring about what other people think. And they realize that teamwork is what really is going to make you prosperous.
Yeah.
So it's crazy that there's this big lull in your 30s and 40s where, and that's the time when you're supposed to be getting things done. But mentally, we're at the worst.
I on this post on my Instagram, if you haven't seen it on my Instagram, please go to my Instagram at Michael Yo. But I do it shirtless, and it's the only picture I've ever done shirtless. But it's kind of like, my wife's like, go ahead, do it. I was like, yo, I'm 50. I look like this. I'm hustling. I'm still in the gym. This is the only time I ever do it. But I wanted to get attention, not on the way I look, but I wanted people to read the message. Because I really wanted people to understand, if you're a fan of mine, like where I'm at in my life, and I don't know, man. I just feel like somebody commented, like, you found stand-up at 37? That's when I started the career I love. Mm-hmm. Now what's interesting is like the job I was good at, I'm good at. Look, I know how to host. I grew up hosting, that's what I do. Now, since I got the stand-up thing, and it's only gonna grow, and I'm only getting better, now it's kind of like, oh, I may dip my toe back into hosting. Because now I'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because I have something, I'm building my career, because now it can help me build my career. Where before hosting, I was just building somebody else's brand. And that's what I tell people is like anywhere you work, if you're not doing it for yourself, you're building their brand.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can, at the same time, build both brands.
Yeah.
Build their brand, me being on their station, but I add more value now, and still at the same time building my brand. So that's where you want to be.
Yeah. It's a balance, and I think sometimes we forget that when you're helping raise somebody's ship, that old saying of like rising tides raise all ships, that we have to sometimes remember like, okay, I might not be the lead ship in this, this voyage, but hey, man, my ship is also going with them.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%, man. And I believe that, look, I think everybody's a star. They just got to find out what they're great at. Yeah. Like, I used to go to schools and teachers would hate me and they go, you could be anything you want to be. I go, that's wrong. You could be anything you're good at.
Yeah.
You could be anything you want to be. You have to be good at it. You can't have no athletic ability and make it to the NFL, NBA. You cannot have no athletic. You can't learn it. Yeah. You're just not gifted at it, right? Never. So you need to be realistic and see what you're great at, and then double down, triple down on that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Fail fast. For all you people, fail fast. Find out what you're good at. Fail fast. 3 times out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so I feel great at 50. We're going to be in New Jersey this week in New Brunswick.
Yeah.
I love that place. My boy, he owns a amazing bakery. He's bringing cannolis and all that stuff out.
Great.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
No, that's awesome. I'm on day 4 of my diet. I can't wait to sit.
Yeah, I'm not going to eat it.
Yeah.
I already told him I'm not, because yesterday it was my cheat day. I can't have 2 in 1 week.
Yeah.
No. I had my mother-in-law makes the best pecan pie you'll ever eat.
Yeah.
And some call it pecan, but I'm from Texas, so it's pecan.
Yeah.
But it's the she used to sell it. It's that good. She used to sell it.
Yeah, they're Wyoming people, right?
Yeah. She makes the crust, makes everything.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Where it's at.
I have some in the box if you want to get some before you leave.
No, I don't. Why are you tempting
Are you getting chubby? Is that why you started your diet?
Yeah. Well,
you don't feel good about yourself?
Here's the thing. I fluctuate very fast.
You saw me with a shirt off, and you
was
were like, I
a
got to
bit
get
of
to
it.
that level right there.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw Mike Tyson at 58. I was motivated, as we talked about on the last show. I fluctuate very fast.
Yeah.
So I can drop a lot of weight really. I literally could look at a salad and pick up a weight and I'd drop like 15 pounds, no problem. I noticed we took the family to Disney 2 years ago and we were there in Orlando and then I was on the road and then went to Orlando, and as soon as Disney was done, I was like, shirt's a little tight, but probably just a little Disney weight, probably just a little being on the road weight. It's fine, no problem. I'll just hit my go-to salad, my go-to workout, and then nothing. And it was that in that moment I thought, okay, now we're at that age. Now we're
100%.
Yeah. So I'm slowly but surely working back into getting to that size again, because it's
My wife is 12 to 13 years younger than me, and I don't know, man. And this may be bragging about myself, but my wife says it. I have a young energy. I have a young spirit, right? So she doesn't see me as my age. So sometimes she says, oh, it's not that hard. But she doesn't realize I'm 13 years older than her. Like if we're out playing pickleball and I get tired faster. I'm like, well, I'm 50.
Yeah.
I'm 50, girl.
Yeah.
You're 36 or 37, whatever she is. Like, of course you're going to have more energy. Of course you're going to be able to do this. So, but the energy I give off, but I feel like when I meet people, they don't think I'm the age I am.
No.
No.
I've known you for 4 years, and when you said you were 50 yesterday, I was like, is he?
Is that why you wrote whoa?
Yeah. Well, I didn't realize you were 50. I thought you were, because I'm 44, and I thought you were maybe 2 or 3 years older than me.
Yeah.
I knew you were older, but I didn't think you were 50.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's crazy that now what 50 is now compared to like what people used to look like back in the day. Isn't it insane?
Dude, look at the TV programs.
Yeah.
Like what was it with Al Bundy and
Married with Children?
Yeah, they were supposed to be in their 30s. They looked 60 in that show.
Crazy. It's insane how good we look.
The old movies,
yeah,
like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the parents that are supposed to be in their 20s, early 30s look like 50.
Oh yeah.
But now we know more. It was okay to smoke around your baby back in the day. It was okay to drink all the alcohol you wanted. It was okay. Like there were so many things, and there's this big political thing about big pharma, and we're more aware of it now. I think we're all educated more on it, and we know that, yes, of course, it's any other business. They're going to push certain drugs.
Yeah.
Like, it's a problem when you watch TV and a commercial is like, you should ask your doctor about this drug. Like, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Like, you asking your doctor about drugs you see on TV, hey, why don't you give me... I mean, right there, that's just a problem in America.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Also, we don't have as many hardships as we used to. We used to have so many hardships. Back in the day, it was, my daughter has never left 72 degrees. Ever. She's never left air conditioning. It's exactly 72 inside the house. The only thing in Minnesota is you have to go from your house to your vehicle, where it can be sometimes -10, but you pre-start the car from inside.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So
Yes.
there's no hardships anymore. There's nothing like, we're not going out and hunting for our food. We're not growing it. We're not picking it.
But we didn't do that either.
We didn't do
Rudy.
that. Yeah,
Okay.
but what I'm saying is the reason why we look this good is because we started out at an age where, they used to have families of 10, 12 kids because you had to. Because some of them would die off and you needed help on the farm.
On the farm, yeah.
And nowadays, that doesn't exist anymore.
No, you're right. You're right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I just, we're healther too.
Super healthier, yeah.
Like, I see people at my gym I go to, they're like 60 and crushing it.
Yeah.
Like destroying it.
Yeah, my brother-in-law's stepdad is like 75. Dude does like Ironmans.
Yeah, man. You can do it, bro.
Crazy, yeah.
You can do it. It's just different. Like, I think I look at my mom aged well. My dad's 80. He looks 80, right? But then I'm like, if I'm lucky enough to make it to 80, I don't think I'll look as old as my dad. Just because the way I take care of myself.
Yeah.
But my dad does one thing great. He only eats once a day. And he eats snacks. Like, he's very healthy on that side. And let's be honest, the thing that kills people is the older you get, metabolism slows down.
Yeah.
You're eating all this crap, and that's what really gets to you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was listening to my friends, Cavino and Rich. They have a great radio program on Fox Sports. And they were talking about what is cheating today. And I was like, yo, this is a great topic because I've always, I find, and they said something like the younger generation finds, like, if you don't share your location with someone, that's cheating. Yes. Imagine being 18 years old, not sharing your location, and they think you're cheating. Like, that's what they want now because the technology is there. I always say, this is what I say for women, if you're watching this. If you want to know if your man's cheating or not, just have him FaceTime you from where he is. Like, it's so easy to get caught right now. So easy to have people, like, if you're a celebrity, how do you expect not to get caught cheating?
Yeah.
Everybody got cell phones. Everybody got this. Everybody got that. So my thing is, some people consider, because I remember this was like 5, 6 years ago, 8 years ago when me and my wife met, I asked her, I go, if a dude likes a photo of a good-looking chick, is that cheating? Is it, Rudy? Today, is it?
I think in their eyes, yes. Obviously, in our eyes, people who have been around and we have real problems, like how do we provide for our family?
Yeah.
That type of stuff, that does not bother me at all. In fact, when my grandfather was he was in the military, and there was a couple rumors around that maybe he popped a couple of kids out over on the other side of the world. My grandma was like, and so what? Who cares? He's here now. That's all I care. I don't care if he's got kids. They're not coming here. I don't have to pay for them. Who cares? What's the difference? He was in wartime. Go over there, grab a gun and a helmet, and you go over there and see if you don't try to get a little nookie on the side.
Man, let me tell you, since this show is blown up in Korea, I get so many stories from, they say soldiers came over and they're a kid of a soldier and they never knew the father.
Absolutely, yeah.
So many Koreans are like that.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it happened, man.
And here's what's funny is my girlfriend is very much so afraid of when I'm on the road, a lot.
Yeah.
But she's never seen, when we're done with the show, you and I don't go party.
No.
We hang at the club, we meet some people, we pack the merch, we go back to the hotel, maybe we might stop off at the lobby to grab a quick snack at the hotel, and then back to our hotel room.
That's the degree of it.
Yes.
Honestly.
And I cannot explain this to her enough. I can't tell you how many times, 2 a.m., hey, what are you doing right now? And then I wake up at 8 a.m. and I was like, why are you texting me at 2? She's like, I was just up, just wondering. I was like, did you think I was knee deep in
me and Rudy are at the club
wah. It doesn't exist. Now, and the other thing is...
But I also think she doesn't know me yet.
Yeah.
When people know me, they're like, oh, I'm the comic that when wives are worried, they're like, they let their husband, before I met you, I've had several comics that couldn't travel with other comics that could travel with me.
Yeah.
Because their wives are like, oh, we know him.
Yeah.
You know?
No. Yeah.
I can't control their husbands when they get out of the show, but they know I'm not that dude to be out with them.
Yeah. You're not going to be the instigator of it.
No, I am the last person.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm trying to get away from people.
Yeah. Also, I tell her all the time, you are the only one who is attracted to a 5'6", 44-year-old middle-aged white guy from Minnesota. I'm not going to Miami and there's a line of ladies like, ooh, can't wait to get with that bridge troll. Like, no, it doesn't work that way. I'm not out there like slaying it. You know?
How tall are you?
5'6".
5'6",
Yeah, I think like on a good day, I'd probably hit 5'7".
Have you ever tried to wear like one of those heels, like you put in your shoe to make you taller?
No, I feel.
You never got that desperate?
I had a moment when I was like 22 and I was at a bar and there was a girl who came up to me and we started chatting real quick. And she said, we're going to go to another bar, but then we'll come back. I was like, yeah, your friends can meet with my friends. We can be friends. Let's do this whole thing. And we had a really nice conversation for 10 minutes. And then as she was going to go back to her table and I was going to go back to mine, I was standing on the brass rail on the bottom of the brass rail on the bottom of the bar.
Yeah,
I was standing on it. And I said, okay, well, I'll see you in a little bit. And I jumped down off of it and I dropped like 6 inches. And the look on her face was like, oh, like she was so taken back.
She walked away like this. Hey, ho,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah.
ho.
She was like, well, that was nice. And then she said, well, we'll meet you back here. Obviously. No,
Now, have you ever dated a super tall woman?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think one of my girlfriends was 6'1".
Oh, that's too tall.
It was fine. I
Yeah?
don't care. Yeah, I'm fine with it. It doesn't, plus I needed somebody to get stuff from the top shelf. 'Cause
Yeah, of
I'm
course.
But yeah, cheating, you've never struck me as a guy who has ever gone down that route, and I've never been.
Down what route?
Down of like cheating in the sense of what we know it to be, being with somebody and then physically.
No.
Yeah.
I don't have. You know why? Because I got married later in life. Like I did all my stuff. Like I didn't get married till 42. Mm-hmm. I did everything, bro.
Yeah.
Like I lived in Miami for 12 years. I like there's nothing more. And I told you this before. What changed is I had a dream. I was at my funeral, looking at my own funeral from above, and nothing was around me except random people I possibly hooked up with. And I go, if I die today, that is my legacy. And I was like, I can't let that happen. So that's what changed my life. Right there. And I started dating to date, which is different than dating for marriage. Because on dates, you'll go out with really hot people just so people be like, whoa,
Yeah.
No substance, no nothing. And then at the time I lived in Miami, I was, you work all day, you come home, you're just bored.
Yeah.
And so you were calling people to hang out of just boredom. Mm-hmm. You didn't really want to hang out with them. It's just like, oh, at least I know we can go out, have whatever, just not to be bored.
Yeah.
So that's where I was. But cheating today is kind of like, it's about social media now.
Yeah.
Because think about this. When we were growing up, at least me, if somebody lived 3 miles away from you, you would never know who they were. 3 miles, 2 miles.
Yeah.
If they didn't go to your schools, because most of the people went to the same elementary, middle school, and high school. So everybody kind of followed each other. Because in our school district, that was the order. You would go to Burnett, you would go to Thompson, you would go to Dobie. So if you lived in our area, those are the schools.
And that was in Houston?
And then,
Houston.
And then if you lived 2 miles, 3 miles away, you would go to a different set of schools. So we never met.
Yeah.
We competed, but we would never meet, So that's what was crazy about social media. It's almost like a Cheesecake Factory menu. You got so many options, you always think you're gonna get something better.
Yeah.
And I think dating today, it's easier to meet people. It's harder to decide because you're like, okay, I like her, but look at this one that just swiped.
Yeah. There was a study done about relationships where they took people and they brought them into like a museum with 50 different paintings. And they went, you can pick any single one of these paintings that you want. You're more than welcome to take whichever one you want. And people would pick a painting. And then a month later, they would come back and they would say, so what did you think of that painting? And everybody who picked one of the paintings of the room with 50, they were like, I don't like it. I don't know. I think I should have gone with a different one. Then they took people and put them in a room with only 3 paintings. And they would pick their painting. And then a month later, they would come back and go, what do you think of your painting? Love it. I love my painting. Painting's amazing. And what they say is when you have too many choices, you get buyer's remorse. So you do that with dating. You have so many choices.
But you said 3 paintings, they loved their painting. That's more than 2.
Yeah. But the choice that they made when they only had 3 choices, that's why McDonald's.
Wait a minute, hold on. You just said when there was 2 paintings, the person bought it, they would bring it back and say they didn't like it.
No, they loved the one. They loved the one.
Okay, so you misspoke there.
Yep.
They loved it. When there was only 2 choices,
I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, that's what I meant to say is, they loved the fact that there was, when they only had 3 choices, whichever one they picked, they loved that painting. When they had 50 choices and the one they picked, they hated it because they had so many choices.
Gotcha.
That's why McDonald's will never have more than chocolate, vanilla, and swirl. Because Baskin-Robbins, 31 choices, anytime you ask somebody about
vanilla.
See what I mean? Because you only have those choices. So when it comes to dating, if you have so many choices, Bumble, Tinder, Hinge, whatever it's too much.
Yeah.
So when you go and you date somebody, you go, how many times, I don't know if you ever did the dating apps, but I've done them.
No, it was breaking big. Like what was just the total hookup? Tinder.
Yeah.
That was big, and then everything else. But I was married. I was already in a relationship, so yeah, I never experienced that side. I was a real man and had to talk to women and get phone numbers. Rudy. I had game, baby. I had real GAME.
Yeah. Well, some of us have to hide behind phones and step stools with our big shoes to make us look tall.
It's so whack to me to be able to talk to a girl, text her, be like, "Hey, what's up?" Disappear for like 5 hours and be like, yeah, you could find creative people to be like, okay, what did I say next? What did I say? Well, the dude, when you were in the game, when you just went up to a girl at the mall, be like, hey, what's your number? Oh, I loved it. I loved it.
Did you see?
And I think that's why, and maybe this is the case, that's why I think younger women like older dudes because we know how to talk to them.
Yeah.
We're not hiding behind this.
Sure.
Like I have plenty of friends, and it may be creepy, but they're in their 40s and they're dating like 28-year-olds, 26-year-olds, because these dudes have game.
Yeah.
They know how to talk. We came from a generation where you had to talk to women, not hide behind a phone and text them.
Yeah.
Hold on, one more thing. I was on a show that, it's an app that starts with an H. Hinge. So I did a podcast for them where we put people together that ghosted each other. But they didn't know they were both there. So I would interview one and find out why they ghosted X, and then I would interview the other and get their version, and then we would put them together.
Wow.
Yes, great show.
Okay.
Great show. And they even talked about AI. Like these AI girls now, that have social media pages. If a guy's obsessed with an AI photo, like he's like, babe, look at this. Look, she's so hot. Blah, blah, blah. I go, yeah, that's cheating. If you wanted to hook up with a dude on a football team, you watching football is cheating.
Yeah.
Anything where your emotions are not geared to the person you're with is cheating to me.
Yeah.
Liking a photo, I don't know. But that's why my wife's friends always ask, why don't you follow? I don't follow any of my wife's friends. None.
Yeah.
Because if I but my wife people follow my wife follows my friends, but it's kind of like, I don't want to even have that. Like, I am a guy that eliminates any thought, anything.
Yeah.
Like it just makes my life easier.
I was once told minimize the risk in everything in life, and I have lived by that motto: minimize the risk.
Yeah, because you got to remember, my wife was Miss Wyoming. All her girlfriends. My wife used to ask me to watch pageants with her and like 10 girls at our house, and then what they do is they take scorecards, and you're judging women. The most beautiful women and you're with like 3 Miss USAs and things like that. And then, hang out with us. And what we're gonna do is, like, when a girl walks out, we all talk about them and stuff like that. Can you imagine with me around all these pageant girls going, yeah, she's really hot.
Yeah.
No, I would just literally say, Alabama's gonna win and leave. Because that's the first girl that walked out.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of do that with the NFL draft. It's not quite, you know what I mean? Like, they walk out, we're like, he's a little broad in the show. You know what I mean? Yeah.
But this is like full, like, pageants, and I see what you're saying, but I mean, it's just a bad position. Like, your wife watching the draft with you, not a bad position. You watching half-clothed women and then writing a score down so your wife can see, not good.
Yeah.
Not good.
I can see you saying, you know what, honey, you just save that paper and that pencil. Because I got it all up here, and you're the number one in my.
I do say that. That's why I used to just pick Alabama. The first girl that walks, whatever place the first girl walks, she wins, and then I leave.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even show up. It's like
they might as well. But
I also think women try to set dudes up for failure to test them. All the time. They set these little landmines. Like, is he gonna step on this? Is he gonna step on this?
Yeah. Yep.
I really believe it.
Yeah, I was on the road. This was years ago. I was on the road. My girlfriend had come with me, and not the girlfriend I have now, a different girlfriend. And there were some girls who were at the show who were there specifically, not for me, but for the person I was opening for.
Yeah.
Who definitely were there. They were hanging around a little too long, trying to like get back into the green room area. And the girl that I was dating had kind of walked up to him and was like feeling him out a little bit. Like, what about that opener though? Like he was he was pretty hot, right? And the girls were like, yeah, like he was fine. Like he was fun, whatever. Like I made no impression on them whatsoever because they weren't there for me. And when my girlfriend told me about it, I was like, were you testing them or were you testing me?
Yeah.
Were you testing to see if they had any interest? And if so, were you going to be like, you should go over there and talk to them and see what's up? Was that your plan here? Like, what a weird thing to do. Yeah, so I've never let her. In fact, after that had happened, I was like, I think we're good. I don't think we need to.
Yeah.
You don't need to come on the road with me anymore. We're done.
Yeah. All right, you got any stories or anything else you want to hit up?
Yeah, you know what? Let's take a quick break. We'll promote some shows and then we'll come back and we'll do some news.
Let's do it. Hey, what's going on? It's Michael Yo. Thank you so much for watching the Yo Show. All right, leave a comment, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. My brand new comedy special comes out January 28th. It is called Snack Daddy. Now, some dates in December will be in Cincinnati, Ohio. That's me and Rudy. December 6th and 7th. Also, St. Charles, Missouri. That's St. Louis. Will be there December 12th through 14th. In Columbus, Ohio, we are coming to you December 20th through 21st. We'll see you at all the dates, michaelyo.com/tour. Welcome back to the podcast. Like, subscribe. I need some subscribers. Do it. Let's get to 200,000 before the end of the year. That would be amazing. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I promised you, Yo Show is going to be every week. We're doing it. Facebook, I see you. I see all the views on Facebook. Thank you so much. YouTube, I see all the views on YouTube. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to jump into some news right now with Rudy. What do we got?
Jussie Smollet's conviction has been overturned. He scored big with the Illinois Supreme Court after overturning his conviction in that infamous hate crime hoax case.
Okay, before you move on, this was the one where he said he was going to Subway at like 12:30 at night. It was like really cold outside, and two like Jamaican dudes jumped him that were actually trainers.
They were actors. Yeah, they were trying to be actors, and they thought if we pretend to jump this guy in Chicago outside of a Subway of all, dude, you're Jussie Smollett. Pick somewhere better than a fast food restaurant, would you please?
Dave Chappelle had the best joke about him in his last special. He called him Jussie Smollet or something like. You know that French
Jussie Smollett.
Oh yeah, Jussie.
Yeah.
So what happened?
So they've overturned the conviction. He ends up with a lighter sentence after all. Basically what they said is he struck a plea deal with prosecutors saying that he had done enough community service to avoid a second prosecution, which is so weird they have a second prosecution. But yeah, for the most part, this is all done, as is probably Jussie's career.
So yes, his career is done.
Yeah.
So this went to the Supreme Court, not the United States Supreme Court. It went to the
Illinois Supreme Court. Yeah.
So this isn't saying he's innocent. But he can walk around saying he's innocent, but he still had to serve the community service for it.
Yeah.
So they kind of let him off?
So they let him off. They said a second prosecution, which is weird because that first prosecution, I believe they said was they threw it out. There was something going on. If I remember the story correctly, they threw it out. But I imagine they were going to retry him for a second prosecution and then said, you know what, you've done enough. Even if you do get convicted, it would just be, probably time served or a small amount of probation. But we have so much going on. I don't know if you've been to Chicago recently. It is crime-ridden.
Is it really?
It's bad. Yeah, there's some parts of Chicago that are not fun right now.
But you got to remember, I lived in LA at the time. So many people got on this hate crime train.
Yeah.
Where if you said, I don't think it's real, you would get shamed for it. And it didn't sound right. I even said that. I was like, this doesn't sound right.
Yeah. I was on a morning show in Minneapolis at the time when this came out. And on the air, the second that the news girl read this, I said, this is garbage. And they said, how dare you?
Yeah, people got offended.
A hate crime was committed. I was like, a hate crime was not committed. There's something else going on here. Trust me. And then when all this came out 13 days later that this was all a hoax, nobody turned around and went, Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I apologize. No. Everybody was still looking at me like I'm a jerk, racist MAGA guy. And I'm like, I'm not that. I'm just saying this is not right.
All the actors were hashtagging. It was a big hashtag and all this stuff. And I was like, man, this ain't real. In my mind, I was like, this didn't really happen. And if he doesn't get caught, he won. Like, he just beat the system. Sure. But 13 days later, he got caught, and then all those people disappeared.
Yeah.
People love, that's the problem with social media. People love to jump on a hashtag train because the thing about social media is so easy to be an activist or to take the right side or the left side of the story. You know, it's so easy. If people actually had to work to have an opinion, this is my only thing about social media. I think everybody should have an opinion. I think it should be some work. Though I think there needs to be a couple hoops to jump through before we just say, this person is innocent or this person is guilty, or even post. I just don't, this is what I would love. And they're gonna call it invasion of privacy and all that stuff. I think to have any social media account, you should have to use your real name and you should have to register. It's like a license.
Sure.
If you don't register, you can't have one. So you have to take responsibility. Can't be bots. Bots get blown out. Like that's, if you really want, and you still have your freedom of speech, you just have to be held responsible. Now that people can hide, like if there's anyone that argues against that, that means you're the problem.
Sure. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And
I don't know, that's just, but I'm also not out there trying to set the world on fire about what I say. You know?
Yeah. You know, I look at stuff like this and it seems like it's such a, I always think like, why do we need to have opinions on this? You know, oh, it's Jussie Smollet. You know, he took
because
time
that's what
away.
we do is social media, man.
I know that is the thing that like it kind of drives me insane. Like, why is it that people like spend their time? I get that it's a news story and it's
it was
topical.
all over the news.
Yeah,
man.
obviously, yeah. But I'm so blown away by people who have to have, you know, the thing that I really loved about this is 4 days after this happened, he went to, I think, like a Common concert at like a House of Blues, and they pulled him up on stage and gave him a mic, and then he gave this sobbing, we need to come together as a country.
Oh, see?
Meanwhile, he knows that this is all garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, his career is ruined.
Yeah.
He'll never be back, and it's a loophole he got through to not get sentenced. But to me, the damage is done.
Yo, yeah.
The problem is, this is the problem I have with our judicial system, is you can pretty much make up anything about anybody right now, and that person gets punished social media-wise in public.
Yeah.
It could be absolutely false, but that person that said it doesn't, there's no consequence to that.
No, there's no retraction.
So any person can say, this person did X to me. Boom, you lose your job, you lose your house, you lose everything. And it could come out 5 months later, oh, I just made that up. He'll never get his job back. He's tarnished. And that's what I hate. That person should go to jail.
Yeah.
Like, that's the level we need to do. If you're going to make up stuff to hurt somebody like that, like career, like defame them, oh, there needs to be a consequence. Like people like that one lady that started the whole Karen thing, pissed off at a dude that was bird watching and then said he was trying to attack her.
Yeah.
She's going to call the cops and stuff like that.
You see the way she manhandled that dog? That
Oh, yeah.
poor dog. I was like, I think we're calling the cops on the wrong person here.
But that's what I'm saying. I think she did have to do community service.
Sure.
But in that case, you should get punished. You shouldn't be able to just make up something, ruin somebody's life, and just be like, well.
Yeah.
You know?
Moving on. Yeah. Yeah, there was a guy by the name of, if you ever seen the movie Old School? Remember the movie Old School? Will
Ferrell? Yeah. I can't remember it. What's the?
It's got Luke Wilson in it.
But what is the theme? What is the through line of it?
So it's like these older guys go back to college and start a fraternity.
Yes. Okay, I remember.
Essentially, yeah. But there was a guy in there by the name of Harmar Superstar. He's a Minneapolis singer-songwriter. Great guy, amazing songs. But if you kind of know music, he's kind of an R&B singer. But basically somebody called him out and said that this thing happened one night after a show. And he was like, I was kind of under the assumption that we were going back to my place after I just got done playing to 3,000 people at First Ave. I was under the assumption that this person was coming back to my house because she wanted to have sex with me. That's what you do as a groupie. She comes to all the shows, so that's what I was doing. And then she turned around and was like, well, he sexually assaulted me. Career done. Hasn't worked. Has tried to book shows. He was at an event. Just at like an event, like I think it was like a wrestling event, and they made an announcement. He was sitting in his chair, and they were like, "You, in front of all these people, you need to leave. You need to go." They announced it. A guy grabbed a microphone, got into the ring. It was like, and he's like, "What did I do? I paid a ticket. I'm just sitting here, man."
Now, I guess my only question to this story is, did she say no? Did he go like, did she was like, "No, I don't want to have sex," and he still forced him? That's different.
That's different. I think it was a little bit more, in my eyes, I don't know the whole story, but in my eyes, I feel like it's a little bit of the Aziz Ansari thing. Where
it's a bad date.
It's a bad date. It was a bad night, and then she regretted it and made accusations, and then he, ballsy enough, talked about it on his special. First thing out the gate, he talked about that situation with this person, and even though, they say, oh, his career wasn't ruined, I haven't seen a lot of Aziz Ansari since that happened.
His show got canceled. Yeah, but it's just, that's why I'm so glad I was so honest with women all my life.
Yeah.
I remember when I was dating women, they go, "Oh, so am I the?" No, because this is a date. Dating means you're not in a relationship. I date. So I've always been honest.
Yeah.
And if they catch feelings, they're catching feelings, but it's kind of like, I'm dating. I was very honest.
Sure.
When I was single, what I was doing. I would never lie and say, "You're the only one." Like, no, I'm dating. Yeah, this is date. I date.
Yeah. That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Lamar Odom, you want to talk about this real quick?
Oh yeah, this is interesting to me.
This is insane. So Lamar Odom's shocking confession why he bought a sex doll that resembles Khloe Kardashian. He's discussing his past feelings for ex Khloe Kardashian and his inclination to purchase a rather striking sex doll resembling her. The revelation came during a recent podcast where he linked the controversial purchase to mental health. Yep, you heard it right. He might think it's a little sick, but there's something undeniably fascinating about how he recalls their relationship highs and lows. Despite the oddity of the situation, it sounds like the love story isn't quite over yet. Guess he's just trying to keep the romance alive in the most shocking way possible. Here's what I find to be very funny. Here's what I find so funny is they go, he bought a sex doll that resembles Khloe Kardashian. I don't know if you've noticed recently, everyone looks like Khloe Kardashian.
Dude, I said a long time ago, I worked with the Kardashians. Women are basically clones of the Kardashians, the way they look.
Yeah.
White women, no matter what ethnicity.
Yeah.
Everybody looks like a Kardashian.
Yeah. We're seeing it right now on the male side. There's a comic who's a friend of mine, and I was at an airport once in Denver. Not a airport, the Denver airport. And I was on the phone with him, and he goes, "You at the Denver airport?" I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Look around and tell me how many Burt Kreischers you see." I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Look around and see how many dudes with beards and pot bellies and flat brim hats and hoodies you see." And I was like, I look around, I was like, "Oh, the airport is filled with dudes who look like Burt Kreischer." So we find people that are celebrities, and we sort of start to mimic.
I don't think that's because of Burt Kreischer. I think that's just how white dudes. I think Burt Kreischer embodies white dudes
instead of him setting the trends where the Kardashians start. Okay, all right.
Yeah, I think Burt, and that's what people love about him.
Yeah, okay.
He's them.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Where Kardashians, you're not them.
Yeah.
You're a clone of them.
Sure.
I've never seen a white guy and go, "Oh, you're Burt Kreischer."
That's a good point.
But I've seen Burt Kreischer go, "Oh, you're that white guy."
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's what makes Burt so great. That people love his stories because they feel like he's them.
Yeah.
And I think that's the genius of Burt. Mm-hmm. He doesn't go out of his way to wear freaking fancy clothes. You never see him in Gucci or anything like that. I mean, he has nice toys around the house, I'm sure, but you would never, he's no shirt, jeans, he's one of them, hoodie. Yeah. And that's what I love. Tom Segura is the same way. He's a little bit more dressed up at times, but I like Segura, like what connects. And this is why they're kind of the reason why I came out and said I'm 50, didn't want to hide it, is because they are their true selves.
Sure.
And the regeneration of the Yo Show, I want to be my true self. I want to have real conversations. I want to have fun. I want to have people on the show that want to have real conversations. We talk pop culture. We talk everything, but it's with real people. And that's kind of like, I look up to those guys because I feel there's a certain point in everybody's life, even an audience, that's like, all right, who are you? If you're not going to say your age, why, if you don't please tell me you're 50. Yeah. So now I'd be like, yo, I'm 50. This is awesome.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing as comics is us trying to figure out who it is that we are, and that our voice is a heightened version of who we truly are 100%. On the inside. So trying to figure that out it's insane how long it takes.
And what I tell you, it gets swayed so much because if you get a certain audience start to come, like say you do a podcast. Like I had that problem when I did Joe Rogan. I did Joe Rogan's podcast. A lot of his audience started coming out. And so I was kind of adjusting like, oh, I'm not really that guy, but let me adjust. And now I was like, yo, I know who I am now.
Yeah.
Now if I go on Rogan and here's the people, if I went on Rogan today, here's the people that are going to come out to see me that listen to Rogan. Married dudes that bring their wives.
Sure.
That have families.
Yep.
They'll come out. If you're a UFC crossbow, eat deer meat all day, single, broing it up, you're not coming to my show.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that now. Before, I would try to go after that audience because that's what kind of, I'm on Joe Rogan. Let me try to get that audience. I was watching UFC. I was eating elk.
I mean, you were buying it from Whole Foods. You weren't
Yeah. But I was trying to become something I wasn't at all.
Yeah.
And then once I got out of that, big shout outs to Beth Hoops. She was like my social media director. She still is. She goes, have you looked at your audience that buys tickets and that comes to your show and that your socials say 70% women, 30% dudes?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
And I was putting out UFC content, all kinds of stuff.
So he buys this doll. He basically comes. I think if he's allowing this sort of news to get out there, this is maybe his way of saying, his weird roundabout way of being like, still got a thing for you, Chloe. Like, still got a thing where I'm kind of, maybe you're seeing, if I'm buying sex dolls that look like you, maybe you will then go, oh, he still has a thing for me.
That is the weirdest way to show someone you love
I'm
them.
telling you, man. But like, what else can he do? He's Lamar Odom.
Do you think he's actually really having sex with this sex doll?
I don't know. I mean, he's Lamar
I
Odom.
never could wrap my head around people that would have sex with a doll.
Here's the thing about Lamar Odom. First off, tall, pretty decent looking dude. Even if he wasn't a former NBA player, could probably still pull a lot of talent.
Yeah.
So why does he need the sex doll? Unless he's like super hung up on Khloe Kardashian.
Well, the only positive about this, maybe he's trying to be loyal. I don't know if they're together or not, but maybe this is a loyal move. It's like, I'm only having sex with a doll.
See what I mean? Yeah.
Will you take me back?
Yeah, like that's.
But the first thing that popped in my head: how big is this sex doll? Chloe's 5'10". That's a huge sex doll, but Lamar's 6'7", so that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Well, they have actual like dolls that you can customize whatever height, teeth, hair color, eye color, whatever it is. You ever seen the show Dave?
I haven't watched. I got a couple friends in that, but I haven't watched the full. I stopped after 2, but I do want to see the rest of it.
Yeah, it's great. But he buys a sex doll, like a super high-end, like $10,000 sex doll. And it's got everything you could ever want. It's got the teeth. He customizes everything. And then when it's sitting in the chair, you almost go, that is eerily lifelike. It just looks exact.
Would you ever have sex with a doll?
No.
Yeah, me neither.
I
never could understand why people do this.
Yeah, I don't know. But then again, I'm also a guy who's like, don't knock it till you try it. I don't think I would blow 10 grand on one just to be like,
but if one was just hanging out in the room and I said, Rudy, you can take it home.
Yeah. If somebody said, we'll give you a 30-day trial, I'd be like, first off, wash it.
Okay. Here's my question. If you have sex with a sex doll and you have a wife or girlfriend, is that cheating?
Ooh. No, I don't think so. I think it has to physically have a heartbeat and a brain and...
Does it?
Yeah. I mean, it depends on how much you're willing to pay.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
If you have sex with a sex doll, is that cheating? Hey, for all you people watch in the comments, ladies, I want to know from you. If your man, or vice versa, has sex with a doll, is that cheating? Or is that a way of him showing or her showing loyalty? Yeah. It's like, hey, you're the only real person I'm going to have sex, but I'm going to bang the hell out of this doll.
If you're going on the road and it's a replica of your wife, not cheating. If it's a replica of Whitney Houston, yeah, you probably got a little bit of something on the inside, And I'm talking like prime 1988.
And I would do a live person, not a dead person, because that would get really weird.
I think that's the greatest homage of all time.
What?
Yes, the fact that
if you had a doll, would it be an alive person or a dead person?
See, the two women that I'm most attracted to are Deborah Messing and...
Deborah Messing?
I love Deborah Messing.
Like...
Will and Grace.
She's so nice too.
Yeah, I hear she's great.
She's great.
Super attracted to her. And Marissa Tomei. I mean, dude, my cousin Vinny, she was that. But I would want that,
God.
and I still
that
think she's.
voice in bed. Ooh.
Really, you think so? Wait, are you?
Wait.
Well, no.
Oh no. I'm thinking the name.
Fran Drescher. Actually, to be fair, there are sex dolls of Fran Drescher. You can
sure that.
Yeah, they sell them by the bulk. You can get them at Costco if you want.
That's interesting. Your top 2. I used to have a list till I got married.
Yeah. Really?
Then I just I know my wife. With me and Jennifer Aniston, when I used to interview all the time, she would go, Michael, yo, and give me a kiss on the cheek. Oh, my wife hated that.
Wow, yeah, I mean.
But in a playful way. Like,
Sure.
Jennifer Aniston used to do these hair commercials with shampoo, and I'll be watching a football game, and then my wife just looks at me and, but she's just joking wise, I think.
Yeah.
Joking.
Yeah. All right. Listen, this topic came up, and I
what do
wanted
we
to get your
got?
thoughts on it because you and I both, we're very much so in the same ilk that we do not eat for flavor. We eat for sustenance. We eat to stay
100%.
alive. Yeah. So, but I've dated women who were in this realm is that when it comes to restaurants, what is the automatic, I'm not eating here, we need to leave?
I would say, well, I lived in LA, so it was the letter on the window.
Sure.
I try to only eat at A places unless I didn't see a letter, and then you walk out and you're like, it's a B, and then automatically you feel sick, right? But usually, I mean, it has to be clean.
Yeah.
If I walk in, I see a bunch of dirty tables, no, I can't go. And let me tell you something. This may sound mean. I'm gonna let you know, this may sound mean, but I was in Europe, I came back to America. And it's this different mentality I had since we eat for necessity. If I go to a restaurant and I see a lot of obese people in that restaurant, I won't eat there. Not at that moment.
Wow.
Because I'm like, if this food is doing that to them, why do I want to put that in my body?
Okay. Yeah.
Because normally, and this, I don't want this to sound mean. I'm just saying obese people, like anytime there's a buffet, dude, I'm gonna get crushed for this, I know it. But there's certain restaurants you see a lot of obese people at.
Yeah.
And I just cut those out.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I'll still walk into one with my wife, will still eat there if I'm with my wife. But if I go on my own, it just mentally triggers me to think, because when I'm in Europe, you don't see a lot of obese, because people walk, people take care of themselves, the food is fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Then you come back to America and the first thing you see is people that shouldn't be that big.
Yeah.
You see kids that are like 5 obese already, 6 years old, 10 years old obese.
Yeah.
And their parents are sitting with them and they're obese.
It's
like, why are you doing that to your kid? You know how this is gonna end. And that just makes me mad. And a lot of times I can't even watch that. You know, does that sound bad?
No, not at all. No,
Okay.
I know, especially during COVID, we were all, anybody who said, hey man, a little bit of outdoor physical activity and some exercise and maybe lose a couple pounds, that will help with COVID. The second you said that, we were fat shamers. And it's like, dude, we're not.
Bro, we're not.
The science says if you're in good shape and you're taking care of yourself.
But let me tell you something. It's weird. It's so weird how politically science will work and won't work for the same party.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
nothing they say about COVID is real, but us telling you lose weight, that's scientifically fact.
That's scientifically fact.
It's like, I mean, come on. Yeah. Why are we doing? That's the thing I hate about politics. Everything is so political now.
Yeah.
Like, everything.
I saw a woman at a bus stop the other day, probably 200 pounds overweight.
Yeah.
Drinking Nestle's chocolate milk out of the container, simultaneously smoking a cigarette.
But I don't want anybody to think I'm fat shaming or anything like that. It's just like, hey man, we all know what the wrong food can do.
Yeah.
Let's just take better care of ourselves.
Absolutely.
That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely, yeah. To get back to this topic real quick, they're saying some of the things that people will walk out on.
Yes,
blaringly loud music and strange lighting. Loud music is a killer for me. I can't do a restaurant with loud. I mean, dude.
If I can't hear you in a normal comment,
I can't do it either. Dirty floors, obviously. The price of the menu, that's a big one.
Yeah.
If the cook walks out of the bathroom, that's always one that gets me when I see dudes who work there. I can't see them in the bathroom.
Yeah.
This one got me. No soap in the bathroom? No soap in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's the difference? I don't care if there's soap in the bathroom or not.
Well, you got to wash your hands. That means the employees aren't washing their hands.
Yeah, I suppose. But I guess I'm not like a germaphobe. I don't care about that stuff.
See, I'm not a germaphobe either, but.
Yeah. I don't know.
I'll tell you one I see in a restaurant and I'll leave. I've seen the head cook just go like this.
I can't do it, dude.
You know, when they wipe their mouth?
Yeah.
A lot of them do it on their shirt, but I've seen like with their hand.
Ooh.
And I'm like, oh, I'm out.
Good. Yeah.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Even though, who cares? If you really, who cares?
Who cares? Yeah.
But just to see it.
Yeah.
Like my grandmother, God rest her soul. Oh, I hit my mic. She loved, because she's old school black lady, made food with her hands. I could not watch her make food. Because I knew she was just putting her hands in and she's touching everything. I couldn't watch it. Food was excellent. As long as I didn't see her make it, I was okay. If I was at, because sometimes I would be at my grandmother's house. Sure. If I saw her actually make the food, I couldn't eat it.
Yeah.
I couldn't eat it.
I get it.
Yeah.
I had a girlfriend who we walked into a restaurant one time, iconic restaurant in Minneapolis, and it was expensive. And I was willing to like drop a couple of bucks to do it.
Look at you.
And we walked in and the waitress came up and she like took our drink order, and when she turned around, the woman had a stray hair on her back. Like a hair had fallen out of her head and it was just stuck on the back of her shirt. And my girlfriend's like, we're not eating here.
Okay. Will you eat a meal with a hair in it?
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, I don't care.
Like, I'll take it. I'll literally take it. My wife will send everything back.
No, don't care. Just take it out. Just eat it.
It's not going to hurt me.
Yeah, someone's got to eat it.
Yeah, now, if it's easy to take back and we're not in a time crunch, I'll be like, hey, there's a hair in this, you know.
Yeah.
I'll mention it. But I've seen the hair not even mention it, and my wife does, because my wife would lose her mind if she knew I eat food with hair in it. It doesn't bother me.
No, I just keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
I will at times at a restaurant, if they give me the wrong order, I just eat whatever.
See, I won't do that.
Really?
No, because I'm so specific, because I normally am a robot in eating. If I go to your place to get the meal, because there's a reason why I went to your place, because I like this certain thing you serve. And this is the time I'm not going to be on my thing. So I want that thing.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like. We'll be doing this every week. Anything, Rudy?
No, man. We'll see you guys on the road in December. Yeah.
All right. Check out the schedule, michaelyo.com/tour. Later.